I've been chasing mackerel for 30 years of my life. I grew up on Tallabudger Creek here, so we spent all our time offshore here chasing them. And why I love them is they're just such aggressive creatures. They're so unpredictable. They're finicky, they're not easy to catch. Some days they are, but other days they're very, very difficult, and you've got to adapt your ways to try and get them to bite your baits and then to even land them. So I just love their unpredictability. They run hard, they taste good, they look great, they're big fish. What more could you ask for, really?
You may have seen us out there with Dicko before, but word in the Wilson's camp is Dicko's a bit out of form at the moment. So he's had a few failed attempts. So just like in footy, we've sent him back to reserve grade just to find a bit of form, get a bit of confidence, a bit of his mojo back. In the meantime, we're out with the big guns. We're here with Cord, who's a mackerel specialist. I want to get some tips on how to catch mackerel. You're the first port of call. So today, the aim is big liveys, light gear, and mackerel.
We're using actually a sabiki rig, but it's a Wilson heavy duty one. So you'll see it here, it's actually a 30-pound main line, 15-pound branch line. That's because we're after bigger baits. And the secret to success is baiting these hooks. You can't just drop this sabiki rig down. All we do is we put a piece on each hook. I might leave 1 or 2 hooks spare because sometimes the slimy mackerel here don't really like the bait as much as the yellowtail or the tailor. Finish that one off and we're ready to go. And then it's just a matter of dropping that to the bottom. And what we do is we don't jig the sabiki rig like you do in some things. What we do is just stay in contact with it. Now you can see them biting there. You'll see the little ones bite, and what we're looking for is a little bit better bite because we're after the bigger baits. There's a better bite, and we see we hooked him right there. So that's sort of the minimum size we're after, but that's a pretty nice yellowtail scad there. We actually want them about 10 centimetres bigger than that. We'll get a few through the day. All right, so what you'll see is here on the sounder, what we're actually chasing is that's all bait. That's basically your smaller bait and your pilchards and that sort of thing, which we get a few here, but it's these bigger baits that we're actually after. So we saw those archers go through, and that's what we'll target. Most of the time, they're on the edge of the bait school. You'll see that mark there is right on the rock. We're fishing just off the edge of it, so that's where we seem to find the better baits. So Nigel, we saw a little cormorant or a shag go down there. It's always a sign that there's bait or there's a bit of reef under you. So that helps you look for as you're going up the coast and looking for these little areas of shallow coffee rock. They're a fair indicator that there's going to be something down there. So that, pretty much as big as these things get. Look, I've got to get him in the tank quick. That's a fair stud of a yakka, so I'm pretty stoked, and hopefully we can turn it into a mackerel later.
Yep, got him. Got one for you, Cord.
Oh, nice work, Nigel.
Do you want him? It's going to suck up too much air.
He's a perfect bait, but I don't think our live bait tank's big enough for him today, so.
So this one's lucky today.
He is lucky. If we catch one where we're fishing for mackerel, he's going on a line. So.
See ya. Catch the bait. Cord doesn't want it. Far out. Tough crowd.
All right, when we're putting these live baits on, you'll see our rig there. We've got the hoodlum at the front and the mustard saltism treble. Now we're using these granddaddy yakkas, or these big scads that we have. They've actually got a little nostril in them there, and it's the perfect place to put the hook in. You'll see without any pressure, I've got that hook through, and there's that hard bit of cartilage there, or that hard membrane there that it goes into. And it's as simple as this. We just lay him on his side. Now we make sure that this is not pulled too tight. It's quite difficult this because they can jump around, but when you get better at it, it's fine. Make sure there's a little bit of slack in that because you want that bait to be able to pull off the front of that hook there and not pull on that back treble. So he's ready to go, so we're going to let him out now. Now when we throw these in the water, they go burko, so you've got to watch them. They'll actually run under the motor. They're quite an active live bait. They're quite athletic. We don't have to run these lines a long way behind the boat. Look, probably about 40 metres, 35 metres, and then the other one a bit longer. But there's a couple of things we do when we're chasing these mackerel that's pretty important, and we fish very little drag at all. You can see that's just coming off the reel. Now, we do that deliberately. Pretty much their mouth pressure will put those really sharp mustard trebles and that mustard hoodlum hook that we're using in their mouth. So mainly their mouth pressure will do it, but we run that light drag so the fish can actually turn around and take the bait and get it down, and then we'll give it a little strike when we see the rod go off. But that one's ready to go in the holder. So we got our first line out there and we'll get our next one out now. We're always looking for the edge, you know. I guess whenever we fish we look for the edge. And a couple of times I had the light rod out because other rods, the brigs were busted off on them, and they went off and I hooked up better and I enjoyed the fight more, and over the years the gears got lighter and lighter, and we've realised that we actually we catch a lot more with it. We actually hook a lot more with it, with the softer carbon rods and the braid, and it's a whole lot more fun catching them. So I've never looked back. I'll never change back to the heavy gear ever.
Coming up after the break, Cord hooks up, but can he land the mackerel he's been searching for?
Okay, so we've seen a few fish marking on the sounder here. They're down quite deep, but the technique is once we find a few fish, what we'll do is you'll see I'm in and out of gear on the motor. Now, it's most important if that bait, we're just trolling along at a single pace, it's swimming, it's not really active. And you'll notice that when you're in and out of gear, that bait's swimming up, swimming down.
Here we go.
Okay, so we've got a bit of nerves on this one here. Nigel's just whacked me, and that's a sign we've got a fish. Now what I'll do is, that's a sign that maybe one's come up for a bit of interest. We saw a couple on the sounder. What we'll do is we'll just go in and out of gear and try and tease this fish into this mackerel, into eating this live bait. And you'll see he's got nervous again, it's a good sign. But what we want to do is we don't want to just drive it away from him. What we want to do is we want to get that live bait to try and swim around and get agitated and run away from that fish and trigger that aggression strike in the mackerel. Oh, it's a waiting game, isn't it, Nigel? Get our first set of baits out, you get really excited in the morning, they get a bit nervous.
The trolling anticipation cord.
I find the most exciting thing about high-speed trolling for mackerel is you never really know what you're going to catch. We've caught marlin, wahoo, tuna, you never know, but to me it's driving over a patch of bait, you look at it on the sounder, 5 seconds later, because we're going so fast in that direction and the fish is going so fast in that direction, and then the rod just wailing off, and then keep driving to try and get the second one to go, and the second one goes as well. It's amazing stuff, and I encourage everyone to go and have a go at it. I'd say he's just been bitten. There it goes. So we're on here, so I'll give it a bit of a hit, all right? Now, there's that fish there, and you can see that fish running right off. You can see that drag going there, so.
Work cord, had to happen sooner or later.
Oh my God. We do have quite light gear. This is only a 4 kilo rod, little ATC Valiant reel. This is actually 14 pound braid on this one and 25 pound leader. So Nigel steered the fish away from the boat. And look, we got that light wire. We're using 39 pound wire and little hooks. So there's no need to go hard on this fish. We've just got it out of trouble and then we'll just work back towards it and get it in. And I guess, Nigel, this is what finesse fishing's all about, isn't it? Now he's shaking his head violently there, and that tells me that and there we go.
Now he's
decided.
Going on.
He's tried to shake that hook. And that's why the light rods are good. Like, we'll see he's running off there, but when he shakes his head, because there's plenty of bend in that tip, he can't get the hook out, and then he thinks, oh, okay, now we'll run away. And then he'll do this pattern the whole time till we get him in. And Nigel, this is what I love about light gear. It's such a fight. It's a real test. You've got to edge these fish in you, and every inch of it, you know what I mean? I don't care if I take 20 minutes. I enjoy this. I'd rather catch one on this than 5 on the heavier gear. Obviously, one of the negatives of light tackle is the longer a fight goes on, the more chance you've got to pull in a hook. What I might do is, Nigel, I might get you to just a little bit of right-handed on this one so he can, because he's decided he's going to run off again. For this area here, he is a very, very nice fish, and one that I would catch every day of the week and gladly sacrifice 5 little ones for one this size. You can see that fish in the water there. He's a really, really nice fish. Nigel's going to try and tail this fish. There he is. We got him in the spot for Nige.
Oh, nice one, cord.
The nice fish on the light gear, mate. He's not the whopper. He might have caught me undone there, but he's so solid in the sides. So yeah.
Good work,
nice,
mate.
We did it. So.
Welcome to Cord's Mackerel Grounds.
I've got a mate Warren down here, and he's a local legend. He's 82 and he still takes his 3-metre tinny offshore with his 10 horsepower on it. That's what I want to be. I want to be able to do this and catch these fish until I'm that age, and they'll still be here, and I want to evolve my techniques. But really, to me, that they're home. So I just love mackerel fishing, and yeah, I can't wait till I'm out there in a little boat myself when I'm 82 and going out and catching even bigger fish.
To keep up to date with everything the Fishing Show crew is up to, including our latest competitions and prize giveaways, head over to our Facebook page, AFN The Fishing Show. And if you're keen for content, AFN TV is now free to join with over 1,000 videos at your fingertips, plus tip and tactics from Bill and myself.